Good morning, Porter here, and today I am going to do my review of the Pulserive ring. I've had this on my finger now for about 6 days, and I was going to wait until I had had a full week, but I had a conversation with someone today that made me think I better get this video out because I didn't want people to think, based on my unboxing and first impressions, that this was a great ring. Because, spoiler alert, it's kind of not. But we'll go through. It's not, well, we'll go through. First of all, I wanted to introduce you to TK1177, or 1977, sorry. TK1977, behind me playing the guitar here. And, yeah, just do your best to not be intimidated by him. So, the first thing, I'm going to do two things. One, we'll take a look at the app. And then two, we'll take a look at some statistics that I've been gathering over the last 6 days and comparing them to other rings and my Whoop band. So, let me get the app pulled up here. All right. And I'll stick it over here. And when you first open the app, you are greeted with this front page that says, good afternoon or good morning or good evening. Or it's funny because I get up early in the morning, like 1 o'clock, most days, 1 o'clock in the morning, and it'll say good evening on there, which is funny to me that it thinks it's evening time at 1 o'clock in the morning. But anyway, you can see there's an activity ring here. It's based on 3 different things: your steps, your calories, and your, it just says duration. And I think that's like exercise or movement or something like that. It usually goes off, it says blank of 30 minutes. It usually goes off the same time my Apple Watch gives me 30 minutes of exercise. This thing will say, I've got 30 minutes of duration, whatever that means. So I'm assuming it's some kind of movement or exercise or whatever. The first thing I have to say is the steps is way off. Compared to my, let's see here, compared to my Apple Watch, which says I got 11,198 steps, this thing says that I have 18,971. So about 7,000 more steps than my Apple Watch. And I trust my Apple Watch more than I do this ring. So, let's see. Next thing, sleep. It gives you a quantity of sleep and then your sleep stages. I don't trust any app, really. I don't trust any of my rings, any of my Whoop, any of my watches on when it comes to sleep stages. They're all incredibly different. And, I don't know that it... Well, some of them take your deep sleep and REM sleep into consideration when they track your HRV and your recovery score, which frightens me a little bit because they're just so off all the time. When you go from device to device, they're just completely different. So I take these things with a grain of salt. If I feel like I got good sleep, then that's good enough for me. Now, there is a sleep score too, which we'll get to in a minute, and the sleep score is very subjective, but it gives you a better idea of, if you got a 80 on your sleep score and when you wake up you feel pretty good, then you probably slept pretty good. So anyway, then it has workout records, which there's no workout record here because I worked all day and now I'm doing this, so I did not work out today. It's got your heart rate, which it takes it was taking it every half hour. I just set it to every 5 minutes. So it should be taking my heart rate every 5 minutes now. My blood oxygen, my blood pressure. This shows the last blood pressure reading that I took. And we're going to take a look at that here in a second too. Okay, so I said I was going to talk about this later, and I didn't. So I'm jumping back in here and splicing this in to say that the blood pressure function of this ring, it comes close. to my actual blood pressure when I take my blood pressure with a cuff and then I take my blood pressure with the ring. Now, I've seen online some people say things like they take your age and your weight and your, you know, so on to kind of guess what your blood pressure might be, and that's why it comes close. But I've had pretty different readings that have come pretty close most of the time. I mean, you know, like 130 over, well, I don't even know what it is. But, you know, say the top number is 130 and the bottom number is 125, you know, or that close kind of thing. So anyway, it's not FDA approved. It's not, you know, as good as taking your blood pressure with a cuff. But if you want to get a general idea of what your blood pressure might be, maybe it works. I don't know. I can't prove that it doesn't. I can't prove that it does. So all I know is that when I've tried to use it, it's come pretty close. My current HRV, which is kind of nice. I don't think I have any other device that tells me my HRV in real time. And I can tap this to measure my HRV and it'll give me my HRV in real time. Your stress and your menstrual cycle, which of course I don't have one. So, there, my HRV is 53 right now. So, you go to the next tab down at the bottom, it shows your activity tab, which gives you your inflated steps, like I said. And then it has volume of physical activity. This week you accumulated 534 met minutes, which I have no idea what that is. I probably should have looked it up before the video to see if that's actually something, but I'm not super interested in my mins either. So, and as we go down, it just shows my goals from the last 7 days when I filled up all my rings for the last 7 days. This last thing down here is beyond 94% people go farther. I'm not. That's an interesting way of saying. I think that 94% of people do more than I do on a daily basis. I don't know. When I go to week and go down, it says beyond 94% people go farther still, and it shows my activity going down, 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 down every day. Even though I ran a 5K yesterday, and my activity should be a little bit higher than that. So, anyway, when we go to the sleep page, it shows the amount of sleep that I got last night, which says 5 hours and 25 minutes, which is low, very low. And I've noticed something interesting. It says that I went to bed at 8:10 p.m. and I woke up at 1:35, which is right. Well, no, it's not right. I woke up at 1:35 a.m., but I went to bed at like 5:30. And if I click on this calendar and it shows the different days, every day says I went to bed at 8:10 p.m. And every day that is wrong because I go to bed about 5 o'clock every day. So I don't know where it's getting this 8:10 from, but it's not keeping track of my sleep from 5 to 8 anyway. And so every day my amount of time is wrong, and you know, my overall sleep is wrong because it can't seem to tell when I go to bed. So I got a sleep quality score of 82 based on the sleep that it did track. And that is, we'll see in a minute when compared to other things, it's kind of an all right score. I mean, compared to my other things. It gives me my sleep ratio from restful sleep, light sleep, and REM sleep, how long I was in each one. Like I say, I don't pay attention to those. I take it with a grain of salt. And then it gives you your average heart rate while you were asleep and your average HRV while you were asleep, which we'll get into in a minute here. And then it shows your temperature. It says the temperature difference is calculated by comparing it to your average temperature. So I was a little bit high last night, apparently, on my average temperature. It doesn't really tell you what your average temperature is. It just tells you if you were higher or lower than your average temperature while you were sleeping. So, do with that what you will. So, whoops. Uh-oh. I lost something. And then last 7 days, sleep trends. Like I say, it says my average sleep time was 5 hours and 57 minutes for the last week, but we know that's wrong because it doesn't know what time I went to bed. So, that is the app. Okay, so I have this chart that I will probably cover most of the screen here with. You may see some different parts of me or TK 1977 back there. But when I look at the Pulserive ring, when you look at these columns, the Pulserive ring is right here for this one. Sleep score. Like I said, sleep score is pretty subjective. But you can see it's kind of in line with the Ultra Human ring, except for this one day here. And that was, yeah. I took a really long nap that day, and then woke up for a few hours, and then took a really long sleep. And the Pulserive ring didn't. It thought I went to bed at 8 o'clock and woke up at 1 or whatever. So, but you can see the numbers aren't terribly different when compared to the Ultra Human. There's a couple of times that it is. They're not terribly different when compared to the T-Rex, except for that one outlier there. So if you're wondering what your sleep score is, if you get this ring and you're wondering what your sleep score is, it seems to be giving decent numbers. Recovery, it does not give a recovery score at all. So if you're wondering what your recovery is for the day, or if that's something you're interested in, this ring does not give you a recovery score. So that may be something you need to take into consideration if you're going to get this ring and you need that. Resting heart rate. You can see down here in the graph, almost all of my devices they're very close together when it comes to resting heart rate. The Pulserive is right in line with that. It does a good job of tracking your resting heart rate. So that's one area, at least on this ring, that I can say it does a good job of doing. And then HRV. HRV is, man, it's sort of in line with the Ultra Human ring again, but not really. I mean, it's 5 off here, 10 off there, couple off there, 10 off there, almost 10 off there, 5 off there. HRV is a difficult stat for these devices to come up with, it seems like, because you can tell from the graph down here, everybody has their own way of measuring HRV, I think. Or, I don't know, of reporting it anyway, because there's hardly any there's a couple of places where you see things that are kind of close together, like right here, these three are pretty close together. But otherwise, like this here, this is what, the Ultra Human. I went from a 20 down to from almost 40 down to 20 one day. Where is that? Oh, anyway, doesn't matter. I'll cut that out because it didn't make any sense. So the Pulserive ring, it's, like I say, sort of in line with the Ultra Human ring. It's not in line with the T-Rex at all, but the T-Rex is, kind of in line with the Helio ring, which makes sense because they're made by the same people. And the Whoop Band is kind of out here all on its own. So that's the stats for this thing. So what is my overall impression of the ring? It's all right. It's not as good at a lot. The app really kind of kills it for me, because the app looks like it was made by a third grader, who's learning how to code. So I'll tell you another good thing about this ring is that it came with a charging box that you can take the ring and put it on the charger, and you have to get it on there a certain way, but it's got a little magnet that helps with that, and it charges the ring, and you can charge the charger, and it can charge without a cord, so it's charging right now, which is awesome. I wish more rings did this. The Samsung ring has this, the Ringcon ring has this, and the Pulserive ring has this, so far that I know about. The Ultra Human ring uses, where is it? A little thing like this that you set the ring on, and it just kind of sits there, and it's not magnetic or anything, so if it tips over, the ring just falls out. The Helio ring by Amazfit, this is actually the Helio charger, but the Ultra Human is just like it. They stink, to be frank. So props to Pulserive for this, because this is great. Oops, got it upside down. There we go. So, and it also comes with a short cable that, here it is. It also comes with a 3-foot cable that can plug directly onto the ring. It has a little magnet that plugs directly onto the ring. If you don't want to use the box, or I don't know why you wouldn't want to use the box, but if you want to use this, you could use this as well. So overall, what do I think about the Pulserive ring? It's, like I say, it's not the greatest ring there is. I'm probably, well, not probably. I've been trying to get a hold of the customer service since the day I got it, to ask them a question, and the question has turned from a query into I think I'm just going to return this thing if I ever hear back from them, because I'm not super happy with the ring, and the longer it takes for them to respond to me, the less enthusiastic I am about them overall. So if they ever get back to me, hopefully they're not going to watch this video and say, well, we're just never going to get back with them, because then you can't return it. We'll see. They have a 30-day... it says if you're not completely satisfied within 30 days, you can return the ring. Well, I'm not completely satisfied, so I'm trying to return the ring. But if they never get back to me, I guess I won't be able to. So there it is, the Pulserive ring. I think, who is it for? I think it's if you're looking to get a ring that's under $100, and you are looking at a few specific things like your heart rate and things like that. That's great. I would recommend it for sleep tracking, since it seems to think that I go to bed at the wrong time every day. And yeah, it's a good heart rate sensor. That's about it. So stay tuned, and I will have a review up soon for something called the SyncLux ring that I'm still going over, and that'll be coming up next. And also I have the T-Rex 3 review that I really need to get out. I've had that for a while now. So peace and good night.